Hello, hello. Welcome to the Angels in Politics broadcast. Of course, you know I am your host, the White Collar Goon, the creative and artistic manifestation of Angels in Politics. I hope you realize you are the news, right? Remember, you are the news. You are the news. And have you had a meal as of yet? Okay, so you haven't. All right, me neither. I'm still on my current fast, but if you see me, I am having a little bit of coffee right now. Um, the topic that I want to bring to you today is pretty much like all of my other topics. Deals with spectrums. Not only a spectrum of consciousness, but just a simple spectrum of maybe liberal and conservative, maybe freedom and stability, safety, stability, security on one side of the spectrum, and the other side you're gonna have your freedoms, or your your opportunity, your freedom to do whatever it is that you like to do. I want to go into that because right now, a lot of you know, like it's 2020 and you're saying some bullshit like, oh, new year, new me, new ideologies, new mindset, something like this. And well, that is good to have a new mindset, to improve your mindset, to improve your health, wealth, and wellness. But on the, I guess before the turn of the new year, or the new decade, or the new generation, or whatever the fuck it is, I was reading a few books that had a lot of projections, dystopic or dystopian novels, right? So the novels that show the projections of what the world will look like in the future, right? So 1984 by Orwell, Brave New World by Aldous Huxley, Lord of the Flies by Golding, The Giver by Lois Lowry, Philip K. Dick, has The High Man in the Castle. Like these types of novels, I was reading those. I read those prior to, this month. Right now, this is January, and within the Brave New World, that dystopic or dystopian universe, it has it has the world in a way that is very futuristic, very advanced. And in this world, men and women don't get married. Actually, women don't have babies in the future because now technology is so advanced in this dystopic future that all the babies are created in laboratories, and now we can synthesize their genes and manipulate chromosomes and genes to the point where now you can have whatever you want in a child, whatever you want in a person, and you can just have it almost like almost as if you're shopping online for a Build-A-Bear teddy bear or something like that. Now you can create your own child, and and things of that nature, whereby children aren't coming from the women, right? So women don't have to deal with bearing children or carrying the children. And in this dystopic novel, all of the women take contraceptives, and it's like they wear it around their waist. It's like a contraceptive pouch, and they're very free. They're very liberal sexually because everybody takes up contraceptives, and women don't have to carry the child. Nobody gets married because everybody belongs to everybody, because the future has moved and progressed so fast that your problems have been fixed. Your problems have been solved. Everybody has their own living quarters. Everybody has access to food. Everybody has access to resources. Everybody has their, whatever they need to survive or to live or to thrive. It's already there in this dystopic novel. People go to this eclectic, not really eclectic, but it's like advanced form of a movie theater, and they can get massages from these robots, and in the movie theater, they have these perfumes, or you can. It appeals to the senses, your touch, your taste, the smell. So you have these vibrational pulsations and all these types of I guess you have this all-encompassing feeling when you go to the movies and when you go play golf and tennis. And in this world, everything is great. But I like the book, but I really wanted to talk to you about like the women aspect, right? So like imagine that, right? Imagine in this brave new world, women aren't condemned by their openness, nor are men. But I will say right now, men are necessarily condemned by being sexual, by their sexual inclinations or their sexual pervasiveness or how they want to, you know, insinuate themselves with multiple women, so to speak. But as for women in this book, everybody belongs to everybody, and that's the civilized population, right? The civilized people have these amenities. The civilized people are hopping in their helicopters because they don't drive cars anymore. And in the brave new world, you hop in a helicopter, and you don't have that. You can drive it, or you can have a person of a lower caste, aka a black person or a brown person or a Jewish person or somebody like that. They'll be driving you around in your helicopter, and you would be able to fly to Santa Fe or Australia or Iceland in the same way that you would just go down the street to, you know, the movies, you know? So in this in this world, everything is expedited. Everything has efficiency and time. Everything, your time is your biggest asset. So whenever you think about like how would it be for women, how would it be for women if they weren't condemned, and you know they were taking their their contraceptives, and in this world, like it was almost like frowned upon. It was frowned upon, and they didn't really understand. It's like, why would you want to get married? Like in the book, it's like, who gets married? Like, why would you do that? Like, why would you be with one person when you can be with everybody? Why would you intentionally subjugate yourself to being locked and boxed and compartmentalized to this person when you have what you need as far as capital and resources? You got a place to stay, so it's not like you need him for safety or security. You got there are no crimes in the future. Well, like, why would somebody commit crimes? You know, like, I mean, what would you need? Like, you have everything you need, and you know, it's like it's in the book. It outlined it as this brave new world, and this world is so great, and it's the utopian or the utopic version of what we see. But the antiquated, almost well, they don't say almost, the savages in this book or in this story are the people who aren't civilized. These aren't the modern people. These aren't the people who have access to the tall, you know, towers in the sky that they live in, and they don't have access to the helicopters that fly around. They don't have access to the you know, perfume that sprays around it sprays in the room, and the music, and the movie theater with the senses, and they don't have the electromagnetic golf and tennis, and they don't have the, you know, they don't have any of these amenities. The savages are the people who are like the natives, the aboriginal people, the black people, the uncivilized people. But you found that the quote unquote uncivilized people still had this, they still had structure, and they still had parameters, and they still had guidelines in place in regards to intercourse and marriage. And I think I think that's something that we should bring to the surface and have, you know, conversation about. Like, you know, what is it about, you know, how on a global sense we find ourselves in the West, or the Western Hemisphere, like America, Britain, Canada, United States. Well, I said that already, but you know, Australia. These places where Western nations, developed nations, aka nations that were colonized by white people, we have the civilized nations. But if you were to go to your sub-Saharan Africa, or this, you know, the sub-Saharan parts, or the rural provincial parts of India, and in China, or the places where it's like, oh man, they're not necessarily as developed in these rural country undeveloped places. Like, what's going on over there? They must be living centuries in the past. They must be, you know, savages. But yet the savages have already calculated, and they've seen, and they understand the importance of the selection process and the importance of women being of their behaviors and accountable of their decision makings, accountable of their decisions. Because if you're accountable of your decisions, then you would understand that, like, you offering or giving, or that life is about giving and receiving. So you giving your energy to another man, you giving your femininity, you giving your powers, you manifesting your true talents and your gifts in a way that is, concentrated. You make a concerted effort to give that energy to a special person. I think the quote unquote savages or the uncivilized people see how important that is for women to understand, like, yo, you have so many powers. You're so powerful. You are a superstar. You are a superhero. Please be careful with who you give their powers to. Be careful with who you let into your world. God bless.